Wonderful to see you, Stan. Can you tell us, coming to England, what England means to you?
Oh, England is my second favorite country. I used to come here so often because my wife is English. She's a Geordie from up north, and it means a tremendous amount to me. We have so many happy memories from England, and London, and it's just wonderful to be here now.
Do you have any relationships with English comic book creators or British creators?
Not really. Years ago I did, but lately I've been out of comics to a degree because I'm working mostly on movies and television and things like that now. But I have fond memories of the times that I did have relationships, and I used to work with a number of English writers and artists.
You were just talking about the movies. We've been enjoying the world embracing the movies, the way they embrace the comic books recently, and you've been appearing in them yourself. Can you tell us your favourite cameos in the movies at all?
I really loved them all. I think one of my favorites was in the Fantastic Four movie when they wouldn't let me into the wedding of Reed and Sue because I couldn't prove I was Stan Lee. I got a kick out of that. And then the serious one that I liked was when I turned to Peter Parker in the Spider-Man movie and I said, sometimes one man can make a difference. And then the director, Sam Raimi, said, why don't you add "nup said"? Because I used to write that at the end of my columns. So I said to Peter Parker, "nup said," and I got a big kick out of that.
It's wonderful seeing your creation still living so large and so bright today. Do you think there's anything about the 60s, the time that you were creating them, that was so special that made them stick for so long?
I don't know. I know I loved doing those characters, and I was lucky enough to be working with, I think, the best artists, the best storytelling artists that I could find. There were artists like Jack Kirby and Steve Ditko and John Romita, and they seemed to make everything that I wrote look better and more important than it was by the way they would draw it.
Some creators of that time find themselves in financial problems these days. Is there anything we can learn as a comic book industry to looking after the people that made our fond memories?
I'm sorry, I don't understand. The financial...
They find them, some creators from those times, the 60s, have found themselves in financial difficulties these days. Is there anything we can learn as a comic book industry about looking after our...
Oh, I see. Actually, there is something today called Hero. There is a group, I was instrumental in being one of the founders, where we try to help artists and writers, anybody who had been involved in the comic book industry who's down on their luck. And Hero has really, I think, been doing a fine job. We have helped a number of people. And the artists and writers themselves in the industry have been very generous in contributing to this charity. So I think it's a very good thing.
I was talking to some other people yesterday, and we basically all agreed you are the only person in comics that everyone outside of comics knows. You are the celebrity. Is it something you wanted, or something you were happy to have thrust upon you, or is it a problem?
I don't think about it very much. I think probably the so-called celebrityhood is in a great part because of the movie cameos and the television cameos I've done. And I think a lot of people simply recognize me because they've seen me on the screen. So I sort of feel like a poor man's Brad Pitt.
One thing, again, seeing you at the show this weekend, and I've seen you at San Diego a few times, you seem to be the hardest working man in comics. I see you on the floor, I see you signing, I see you at the parties, I see you spending hours and hours meeting the fans. How do you keep going?
Well, I think it's easy to keep going if you're doing something you enjoy. And I enjoy being with the fans. I enjoy meeting my fellow writers and artists at the conventions. it isn't like working. It's like playing. It's like the average man, or so many men, can't wait till they can leave work so they can go and play golf with their friends. Well, it's like all day long I'm playing golf with my friends, except it's not golf. We're talking about comics, movies, television. What could be more exciting?
Absolutely. There's no danger of you retiring then?
Oh, no, that's really a dirty word. You know how in the Western movies, cowboys wanted to die with their boots on. I want to go at my computer.
That's fun. Can I ask you about your work? I understand you have an office on the Disney lot these days. What kind of work do you do there for Disney?
It's wonderful. Well, we do quite a bit of work. I promote a lot of the Disney characters. I do voiceovers for a lot of the Disney cartoon shows. And I also am preparing a number of movie ideas and television ideas, which I submit to Disney. And they are wonderful people. It's just lovely being on that lot with them. And I am so proud to be a part of Disney.
Wonderful. I was also wondering, looking at the characters you created and created for Marvel, is there anything you would do differently if you were creating those same characters today?
No, I really don't think so. I'm quite happy with the ones I did. Certainly they've been somewhat successful. In a large part to the beautiful work that the artists have done that I've worked with. Probably the only change I'd want to make is I wish I had done more.
Well, you've been working on the Mighty Seven recently for Archie, I believe. Mm-hmm. Could you tell us about that project?
Well, it's a new comic book I'm doing, The Mighty Seven. And in order to make it different, they asked me if I would come up with a team of heroes. I don't want to repeat myself. So I'm making this what I call the world's first reality comic book. It has real people in the stories. I am one of them. I'm a main character in my own story. You'll have to see it to believe it. It's very unusual.
Wonderful.
One last question.
One last question. There's be something to choose from. Okay. Looking at Marvel is now a part of Disney. Are there any Disney characters that you would like to write or contribute to in some way?
Oh, everything Disney has is a joy to me. I'd love to be involved in the Pirates of the Caribbean. I'd love to be involved in all their cartoons, whatever. It's an amazing thing to me. I am so proud to be part of Disney because when I was very young, Walt Disney was my idol. The very first expensive book I bought, I was about 12 years old. There was a coffee table book called The Art of Walt Disney, and it was all about how they made Snow White and Pinocchio and Dumbo and movies like that. And I saved my pennies and I bought that book and I loved it. And to think that I now have an office on the Disney lot, I find it thrilling.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Stanley.
Okay.
It was an honor.
Thank you. You're a good interviewer.
I once interviewed you about 20 years ago when I was a student at Newcastle University.
Really?
And you were promoting a Marvel book, and you came round, and it was, as a 19-year-old man, I was blown away. It was most amazing. And it's no different now than I'm 39.
Thank you so much.
And now I'm writing comics for Boom Comics, who I know have been publishing for Boom.
Oh, really? You're writing for Boom?
That's right, yes.
Great.
I've been hearing all their stories about you as well, and they are also find you a wonderful person to work with.
Well, thank you. What's your name?
My name is Rich Johnston.
Oh, good to meet you.
Thank you, sir.